What's that?
And that was without even a single drop of rum.
This, my friend, is a pirate. Why don't you just pull up a stool and have a drink with it? It comes in pints? I can get you one.
You've had a whole half already!
Good night and party on!
Party on, Wayne!
Party on, Garth.
You know, I almost had it. Almost had it. What is going on? There we go. StreamYard keeps throwing me curveballs. They keep adding stuff. They keep updating, upgrading. Yeah. So, yeah, it was almost a seamless transition. But how's everybody doing? Hope you guys are enjoying your week so far. Made it through your Wednesday, whatever various time zone you might be in. Yeah, didn't do a Monday show. It was another thing where just the time change, which California voted to stop doing. I just want to point that out. California voted to stop doing it. I think Colorado voted to stop doing it. Lots of states, lots of people have really pushed back. Said like, hey, let's stop changing the clocks twice a year and messing with everybody's schedules. And on that note, quick little rant, all of the people out there that are like, oh my gosh, I love the longer days. I love it when the sun is up later in the afternoon, evening, whatever. Guess what? The sun naturally does that. It naturally does that. If we just leave the clocks on the same schedule as the months go on, and with the Earth's rotation and where the sun is and everything, like you will get longer and shorter days naturally with the seasons. But that's what we need an executive order. We need an executive order to stop it on a federal level, to stop changing our clocks twice a year. California voted years ago to do this. We approved it. Federal government just didn't put it into place, whatever. So here we are. And you're like, oh, I like the sunshine. I like having the sun up later, whatever. Yeah, but when I have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, get my ass to work, it's not so fun. So I don't like it. I really don't like it. Let's just stop. Let's stop changing the clocks. So I've been a little loopy the last couple of days. Monday was rough. Tuesday, I thought it was Thursday all day long. I almost didn't know what day it was today. And then I was like, well, shoot, I didn't do a stream on Monday. I think it's Wednesday. I think I have to do a stream so that I don't lose any momentum that I may have gained doing weekly live streams, which has pretty much been none. But here we are. Anyways, our big main topic is Tool, which I can talk about that band for a good solid hour. No problem. But one of my other favorite bands, this was a little bit of a bummer email I literally just got as I was getting ready for the show, which also you probably already saw it in the comments. Just due to various issues of having technical difficulties with the live streams, I've gotten in a habit of when I'm getting ready to do a live stream, I do a quick restart on my laptop. Maybe this is a setting I need to go in and change or something, but you know, and you think, oh, I'll just do a quick reboot, no problem. And then it's like, oh, please wait up. We're getting your updates ready. Don't turn your computer off. And I'm like, I don't want to do an update on my laptop right now. I just want to do a quick reboot. So sitting there watching the spinning wheel of death going, waiting for the update to finish, rebooted, got in here on time, got everything set up at 0 hour. But yeah, maybe it's me. Maybe there's a setting I need to go and change. Be like, don't automatically do an update without asking, like, would you like to do an update? So like, no, I don't want to do an update. I need my computer to reboot right now. Anyways, Coheed and Cambria. If you are not already familiar, they have a brand new album coming out this Friday, to which, of course, no surprise to any of you if you have been watching my show for any amount of time that, yes, I pre-ordered the Premiere Deluxe Holy Shit Edition box set that comes with all sorts of stuff that I don't need to take up more space in my apartment that is already too cluttered, that I really need to go through and do a massive cleaning, decluttering, get rid of a bunch of junk I just don't need anymore. But it's Coheed. It's one of the only bands that I spend obscene amounts of money on stupid things. And the box set being shipped out, again, remember the release date is this Friday, the 14th. I want to say this has been happening with pretty much every box set I've ordered from them in probably at least the last 10 years. And no, I'm not going to go on this big rant about like, oh, Coheed sucks. How come their pre-orders are always delayed? Why can't they get this stuff worked out? Why can't they, whatever. But I'm just going to say this. I'm not going to get into the political side of this, but I am going to say this is why we need to start making more stuff in America. Just going to say that. That's all I'm going to say. Start making more stuff in America. Stop shipping your stuff overseas to get your vinyl pressed, to get all your stuff made for, whatever. And people will appreciate the quality made products, even if it might cost a little bit more, because then I don't have to wait a minimum of 3 weeks to get this thing that I pre-ordered 3 weeks past the release date. So this email literally just came through as I was getting ready for this live stream. Thank you for purchasing the Vaxxus Volume 3 Limited Edition Deluxe box set from Coheed and Cambria store. It looks amazing, and we can't wait for you to see it. I can't wait to see it either. However, and I knew this was coming because it said update regarding your order, we are deeply disappointed to inform you that the delivery of your exclusive limited edition box set order has been delayed due to unanticipated delays on the manufacturer and assembly line. Let me just stop there for a second. Like I said, I feel like this has been happening for at least the last 10 years of me pre-ordering albums, box sets, whatever from Coheed. This is not the first time that this has happened, and it says unanticipated delays on the manufacturer and assembly line. Maybe, just maybe, go to a different manufacturer. Just a thought. What do I know about manufacturing? We were first told it would be delayed because of the Chinese New Year. Now, somebody explained to me an event that comes around and happens every year, why the Chinese New Year would cause a massive delay on this manufacturing. That'd be like in America saying like, oh, due to the American New Year, all of a sudden like your product is going to be delayed multiple weeks. It's like, no, it comes around every single year. We know it's happening. But we're given the impression the delay would be minor. We waited to see exactly how minor, and we've now been given notice that the bulk of the boxes are just now being finalized. So the stuff hasn't even been packed up or put on the boat yet. Due to new screws being added. Okay. They are being shipped this week, but it will take 3 weeks to arrive in the U.S. We are now expecting your product to arrive by April 13th, 2025. So keep in mind, I just said the release of this album is this Friday, March 14th. I pre-ordered this thing months ago, and I'm going to probably get it at least a full month late. Not the end of the world. Like, I don't care, whatever. I know I'm going to get it when I get it, but it's just like looking at this and like all the stuff that's going on, and we'll just say everything that's going on right now and all the things people are all bent out of shape and saying, oh, well, this is bad and this is bad and this is bad. It's like, this is why more products need to be made in America, because this has happened time and time and time and time and time again, where they have to come back and go, hey, sorry, your shipment's delayed, this and that and the other. But then even once the stuff is in the box, you got to put it on a boat and send it on over. We will continue to keep you updated as the boxes arrive in the U.S. and are shipped to you. If you'd prefer to cancel your order, blah, 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 blah. And then, yeah, official info if you want a refund, if you want to make more stuff in it. Why does it keep doing that? Go to that one. No, I don't need to be that close. Could even, I wonder if I could. No, I don't want to click on anything else. I'm going to wind up ending the stream on accident. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. It's everything. My laptop's being weird. StreamYard's being weird. Everything's being weird right now. I'm just trying to keep this thing afloat. So yeah, that's a bummer. That but it is what it is. So I mean, I was gonna as I at least like briefly mention Brent Hines leaving Mastodon, but I'm not really a big fan of Mastodon, so I'm kind of like whatever. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it, other than that the band's been together and going strong for like 25 years, and one of their founding members left. I think Jay said something about his StreamYard being weird today. It's just like they've added some new stuff over here on the other side, and I'm sure if I like sat down and actually messed around with it, stuff, it would be new useful settings. But even just that, when I went from like sharing my screen back, it took out my American flag background and put me just like at center stage, like whatever. I'm trying not to click on anything if I don't know what I'm doing, but yeah, it's being weird. I don't like it. All right, okay, we'll briefly talk about that. Let's pull this up. Basically a founding member left, and there's not a lot of information about it. They're saying that they like parted ways and like a mutual agreement, like everybody's cool, but let's try this one. I feel like I have my browser set to like default to dark mode, but every time I pull up articles, everything's all just like and it's reflecting on my glasses, and it's just burning my retinas, and still can't get rid of the ads on the screen. I still need a good ad blocker. All right, let's talk about Mastodon for a minute before we get to Tool being booed at their own weekend destination festival. I cannot get rid of this thing. What is this? Go away. Go. Okay. Let's do this. I don't want to look at whatever that was. All right. That might be a good compromise. All right. Whatever this thing is on the right side, I can't get rid of it, but it was better than whatever that weird ad was that popped up. Need a good ad blocker. Haven't been able to find one. My browser doesn't like with the one I was using before. Okay. Mastodon's Bill Kelleher on Brent Hines' Split, saying it was just time. Coming off the heels of Mastodon's recent Tool Live in the Stand performance, the group's first show since splitting, with co-founding guitarist Brent Hines remaining six-stringer. That's jumping ahead a bit. Let's go back. Okay, not this article. Let's see, it did it again. Look at that. Puts me up to center stage. I want my background. What's going on, StreamYard? You're being glitchy today. Let's go Brent Hines, Mastodon. There we go. Pitchfork via Yahoo. These are always wonky looking articles. All right, Loudwire is usually pretty good. Let's see what Loudwire has to say. There we go. Oh, it's really small. See, I could like just trying to get everything ready. Every time I do anything on my laptop, there's like a massive delay before it even reacts to what I'm doing. So it's going to be one of those streams where I can just tell I'm barely hanging on. It's a matter of time before this whole ship crashes and burns today. But we're going to get through it. And at least I got some beer. I have just a tiny bit of whiskey left over there as like my emergency in case of emergency, pour whiskey. Mastodon announces departure of Brent Hines. Friends and fans, after 25 monumental years together, Mastodon and Brent Hines have mutually decided to part ways. We're deeply proud and beyond grateful for the music and history we've shared, and we wish him nothing but success and happiness in his future endeavors. We're still very inspired and excited to show up for fans in the next chapter of Mastodon as we move forward. All 2025 touring plans will remain intact. We look forward to seeing you on the road. So there's kind of the short answer of what has happened. And let's see if this talks about who they brought in. Other projects, no. Touring plans, doesn't say. So they have found a touring replacement right now, which of course this article doesn't say, but it was basically a YouTuber. Don't remember the name of the person. It wasn't anyone I was familiar with, but they tapped some like YouTuber guitar guy, because they just played last weekend this festival with Tool that we're going to really dive into and talk about here in a minute. So they've already now done their first round of shows without Brent. So yeah, right now there's a bit of mystery as to why. Everybody in both camps are being pretty quiet, but they're saying it was a mutual thing, that they said sometimes people just grow apart. He wanted to do other stuff, maybe just whatever, who knows. But sometimes that is also like rock star speak for we couldn't stand each other anymore, and so we split, whether he quit or whether he got kicked out or what, I don't know. But yep. But it's interesting is that he's also like, multiple band members are listed as lead vocals, and he was one of them. So it's like you're not just losing a guitarist, you're losing a vocalist. So that will be interesting to see what they do in the future. And watch, it's gonna go back to the screen that I don't want right now. And I say stop screen, did it again, go back to that. StreamYard, you're bugging me today. You're really not, StreamYard's not being very friendly today. So, speaking of Mastodon doing their first round of shows and the Tool Live in the Sand Grand Destination Festival that took place this past weekend, Tool fans are upset. Now, Tool is one of my absolute favorite bands. I have loved this band since, and I'm not going to sit here and try to misrepresent myself. I have loved this band since their second full-length album, Anima, came out, or however you pronounce it. I don't know, 1996, 97. Whenever I first got my hands on that album, I've been fascinated with these guys for a very long time. I remember in sort of the earlier days of the internet, there was a fan-made website. I think it was called like toolshed.down.net or something. And I would sit there and I would just read all these weird factoids about the band and the albums and behind the scenes stuff, because at that time the band has never appeared in any of their music videos except I think one from Opiate, Hush. That one's just weird. Anyways, most of their music videos have always been some sort of stop motion animation that's been directed by and or made by guitarist Adam Jones, who came up doing makeup and visual effects in the movie industry and has worked on such notable films as Terminator 2, Jurassic Park, just to name a few. Then he went full board into music when Tool started really taking off. In the early days, there was a lot of mystery surrounding Tool. Nobody really knew what the guys in the band looked like, because even when they performed live, the band members themselves were usually kind of in the shadows, and they'd have some, various different visuals and things going on. And so I've been fascinated with them since the mid to late 90s. And at the same time, it's interesting to me that it has always been pretty obvious to me, even at a younger age, and especially now as I'm older, that Tool is a band that the band members themselves don't take themselves that seriously. There's a lot of weird humor woven into their earlier albums. I mean, they're like, depending on, and again, this is sort of like the weird like lore behind the band. When you bought the album Undertow, I think released in 1992, 93, somewhere around there, depending on which version you bought it, when you bought it, where you bought it, because that was back in the days where like Kmart and Walmart and places would like censor album artwork and stuff. I mean, Tool was the type of band where if you bought Undertow and you got a certain version of it, you open it up, where the CD sat in the tray, it was just like the plain matte black CD tray. But if you were curious enough and pulled up that black matte tray, there's a picture underneath it of a cow licking its own butt. And it's like, okay, so here everyone thinks they're this like super dark, serious, mysterious metal band, but then like, well, let's throw that in there. That's weird. Undertow also, if you had the actual physical CD, when you listened through it, it ended on whatever, I'm forgetting off the top of my head, whatever was that last actual track of real music. It was 10, 11, 12, somewhere around there. And then there's a bunch of blank empty tracks that lasted just a few seconds each. And then on track number 69, so again, Tool having kind of some sophomorish humor. It's like this long thing of Maynard reciting something in the fashion of being like a Southern preacher with farm animals making noise in the background. I mean, there's like one particular line in this whole long monologue where he says, "And the cries of the carrots." I mean, this has been a weird band that has had a weird sense of humor for a very, very long time, but their fans are so serious. Back before Tenacious D was a bunch of insufferable, you know what's, Tool took Tenacious D out on tour with them, I think in either late 90s, early 2000s, before Jack Black's career hadn't really taken off that much. He had done some movies, but he wasn't like a household name. Tenacious D as a band was kind of a new thing. And so Tool took Tenacious D on tour with them. Maynard said he always wanted to combine humor with music. The fans started throwing things at Tenacious D because they didn't like the fact that there's this like jokey, funny comedy band opening for Tool. This is how serious and how just crazy and insufferable Tool fans are. Fast forward to their 1996 release, Anima. There's a track on there where it starts with very industrial sounding music, these loud mechanical sounding hitting drums and this bass line, crowd roaring in the background, and this guy speaking in German. And every so often when he says this one main line in German, the whole crowd erupts and roars and everything, and people are just like, oh my gosh, like, oh no, they're speaking German, oh, they're, you know, the big N-word, the bad thing, the Nazis, the stuff. And it's like, the guy was literally reading off a cookie recipe. He was reading a cookie recipe, but reading it in German. They did this on purpose to like be like, we think it's funny. You're going to automatically think it's something bad from World War II. It was a cookie recipe being read in German. What's up, Sammy Threepeat? How are you doing, brother? Always good to see you. And yes, exactly it. I love this band so much, and I get their humor. I see their funny stuff that they mix in there. They've kind of stepped away from the humor a little bit once they started moving on to like Lateralis and stuff, and that's part of why Maynard branched off and really started pushing. His other band, Pussifer, he's kind of had the early makings of that since even like the 80s and 90s, but he started really pushing for doing all the weird wacky stuff he does with Pussifer when Tool started kind of stepping away from the humor stuff a little bit. But yeah, the fans are so freaking serious, and they don't get it. Like, it's like, how do you not realize that they're just constantly making a bunch of dick jokes? Like, and then even on the same album on Anima, they open up the closing track of the album, Third Eye, with a comedy bit from Bill Hicks, who was a good friend of the band who had passed away. But they literally put a comedy bit at the beginning of one of their songs, and it's like, you guys still don't, like, the fans just don't get it. They don't get it. So there's been a lot of people over the years, and so between their 2006 release 10,000 Days and then their 2019 release Fear Inoculum, there was a 13-year span there. And the band members themselves have said that there are a lot of various reasons to this. The band got wrapped up in various different lawsuits that they said was occupying their time and their creative energy and this and that and the other. And it took 13 years for them to, finally put an album out. And it's funny to me that I look at it like, this is a really bad example that I'm going to kind of do a quick little aside. I am not comparing Tool to Godsmack, but the band Godsmack has said that their most recent album they just released, I want to say just a couple years ago, I think it was called Light Up the Sky or something along those lines. They said that would be the last album of new Godsmack music that they were ever going to record. They're not breaking up, but they said they were tired of the album cycle of you put out an album, you have to tour and promote that album for 2 years, you have to play a bunch of the songs from that album, and then you can kind of do other tours where you can play more deep cuts, and then the process repeats itself. And they said, you know what, like, we have enough albums out there, we have enough songs that people love, we want to tour when we feel like touring, and we want to play the songs that we feel like playing. Because at this point, like, someone's always going to walk away disappointed, saying, oh man, like, they didn't play this song, they didn't play this song, they didn't play that. So you keep putting out new songs and new albums, and somebody's always going to wind up disappointed. So Godsmack made the decision to say, we're not going to release any new music anymore, but we're still going to tour, we're still going to come to your city, we're still going to hopefully play most of your favorite songs, if not some of them. So with Tool taking 13 years to make an album, I looked at that like, you know what? I love everything these guys have made up to this point. I have seen them live many, many times over. I will continue to go to their concerts and see them live whenever I can. But if Tool never made another record of new music, I would still love their back catalog. I would still go and see them live. But the amount of fans that were constantly just like, if Tool doesn't make a new album, I'm so done with these guys. I'm so over it. I'm so out on them, whatever. It's like, the hell are you? They don't owe you anything. Like, don't get me wrong. If there's no fans, there's no band. If the fans aren't listening to your music, if the fans aren't going to your shows, then you don't have a band. I understand that and I get that. But it's like, you don't get to dictate, oh, they need to make a new album because I want a new album. And they're like, they have said over and over and over again, we will put the album out when we think it's the best work we've done, when we're happy with it, when we think it's done. They're like, we will not be pressured by a label. They're currently not on a record label, so they're free agents and they can really do whatever they want. They're like, we will not be pressured by a label. We will not be pressured by public opinion. We will not be pressured by fans. Like, we'll put an album out when it's good and damn and ready. But, whatever. But all the fans, again, oh, if they don't put a new album out, I'm done with these guys or whatever. But guess what? For all the people who say that, oh, are we going to finally admit that Tool is overrated? Are we finally going to admit that Tool sucks? For all of their haters, when they do go on tour, when they announce tour dates, when they announce concerts, their shows, which are usually at stadiums and arenas, sell out in minutes. So I think they have no problem sleeping at night when it comes to all of their haters. So Tool also famously did not have any of their music legally available in any digital form until 2019. You could not purchase it on iTunes. You could not stream it on Spotify. If you wanted to legally listen to their music, you had to buy the CD or the vinyl. And 2019, they opened the floodgates, put everything on streaming. They knocked Taylor Swift out of the number one spot, which really confused all the Swifties, because being that Tool hadn't made an album in an amount of time that most of the Swifties had even been alive, they were confused and angry that this old band from the 90s that was like trying to make a comeback came and knocked Taylor Swift off like the number one spot on streaming services and whatnot. So I think that's pretty funny. Yeah, exactly. Look at the insignia. It's like the old T-shirt where it was like the wrench with the two. Yeah, 100%. You get it. And Roman's here. What's up, buddy? I never play what you want because you listen to crappy music, and of course you did. Of course you did. But you ordered an unofficial copy. You got duped by an unofficial copy. I think they're getting ready to officially re-release that one because they said they just recently went back and did a remaster of it. So I'm sure you'll wind up buying that one too. You mean Devin. You just mean Devin. The funny thing too with Tool and like, oh, their music wasn't on streaming, it's Maynard's fault. Or they take too long to write albums, it's Maynard's fault. Maynard's a businessman. He's got two other bands. He's got A Perfect Circle. He's got Pussifer. He's got his winery business that has multiple tasting rooms and restaurants scattered about various parts of Arizona. He has a store in Arizona that doubles as like a record store, merch store, barber shop, bar, all sorts of, anything you can possibly think of. He wanted their music out there digitally. He wanted it on iTunes. He wanted it on whatever other platforms you can digitally buy music. He wanted it on Spotify, Apple Music, everything. When they're like, how come you guys aren't on streaming or anything? And he's like, you're asking the wrong guy. I think Maynard gets a lot of flack because he actually goes out and does interviews. He goes on podcasts. He's been on with Rogan a couple times. So they ask him the questions and he gets tired of it. And he's like, I get these questions all the time. Everyone blames me. Everyone thinks it's the singer's fault. And it's like, whatever. It's like he puts out more music with his other band, Pussifer, because the other members of that band work a lot faster than the other guys do. Perfect Circle is basically Maynard and Billy Howardell. He's got other stuff going on, so they sort of convene when they feel like it. But Pussifer just cranks out music because they write a bunch of music. They send it to him. He writes lyrics. They record an album. They tour. Bada bing, bada boom. Tool, he says he does not interfere with the writing process. So they've been together for over 30 years. They've figured out that he's not going to come in and tell Adam to play this guitar riff. He's not going to tell Danny to do this on the drums. You know, he's just like, you know what? You guys write the music. Tell me when the music's ready. I'll come in and write my lyrics. You know, whatever. He checks in on them every once in a while. Hey, you guys got anything for me? And they're like, no. He's like, cool. I'll come back in a couple weeks. You know, whatever. So everyone's like, oh, it's Maynard's fault that they're not writing more music. He's like, when in 2019, when Fear Inoculum was finally about to come out, he's like, I thought the album was fine 10 years ago. It was fine 5 years ago. It's like they keep nitpicking it and keep reworking parts and keep just whatever. And he's like, just send me whatever you have when it's ready. So yeah, the rest of the guys all seem to just sort of keep to themselves, kind of keep out of the spotlight, keep out of the public eye a bit. But because Maynard is the one that goes on podcasts and goes on interviews, he gets a lot of the flack for it. But he's just like, it's not my fault. But even in this, with the festival and the whatever stuff, I was seeing pictures where people are putting like outside of their hotel rooms for said festival, like, you know, F MJK, Maynard James Keenan. Like, it's all like, why is it always the singer's fault? I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes it is because the singers usually are the biggest egos in the band, but it's not always the singer's fault. These guys still are very much a collective band. So here we are. Tool fans vent after the band played the same 4 songs during both of their Tool Live in the Stand sets. Now, that headline is immediately misleading. When I first read that, I thought it meant that they played 4 songs on the first night, and then the second night they played the same 4 songs. No, they played more than 4 songs, but they repeated 4 of the same songs in the set, and that's what people are upset about. So let's dig in a little further before I give a little more of my own commentary here. A vocal contingent of fans of progressive alternative metal stars Tool have taken to the internet to criticize the band's set list choices at their first ever Tool Live in the Stand Destination Festival in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. Got to be careful how I say that. The revered band headlined the first 2 nights of the festival this weekend with opening performances from Coheed and Cambria, Primus, with first time performing with their new drummer, and more, while the novelty of various Tool-related events offered by the festival and the chance to catch the band performing on a picturesque beach surely sweetened the pot. The additional cost of travel and lodging associated with the tropical setting did ensure a significant price tag for those lucky enough to attend the sold-out event. Given the significance of the performance, some fans expected the band to pull out all the stops and add some curveballs of rarities into their set lists, which they did amidst the back-to-back performances, but that didn't happen because people are insufferable, pompous jackasses. However, what some fans have found the most egregious is the band's decision to perform 4 of the same songs at both shows, as you can see by the set list below per setlist.fm. Fear Inoculum, Rosetta Stone, Pneuma, and Jambi were played both nights. Wah, wah, wah. Friday, March 7th, they opened with Stinkfist, then Fear Inoculum, Rosetta Stone, Pneuma, Jambi, Schism, The Grudge, The Flood, which is from Undertow. They never play anything from Undertow anymore. You got a song from Undertow. Invincible and Vicarious, first time since 2020, which is from their 2006 release, 10,000 Days. Saturday, March 8th set list. Fear Inoculum as the opener. So yes, they repeated it, but they moved it. Anima, Rosetta Stone, Pneuma, Jambi, Descending, Chocolate Chip Trip, which is basically just like 10-minute drum solo from Danny Carey, which is always a treat to see. Intolerance, again, Intolerance and Swamp Song from Undertow. You guys got 3 songs from Undertow, and you're pissed off. They never play songs from Undertow anymore. Those are, okay, let's back up. They were expecting the band to pull out all the stops and add some curveballs or rarities into their set list. They literally played 3 songs from Undertow, which they never, ever, ever, ever do. The last time I saw Tool, which is quite a few years ago now, this is the first time I'd ever seen them play the song Sober, which, yes, is from Undertow, but it was like their first big radio hit, which is weird because Tool doesn't really get radio hits. But Sober was like their first big like commercial hit. And I had never seen them play that song live before in all the many years I'd seen them. That was mind-blowing. Like, holy shit, they played something from Undertow. I want to say the very first time I saw them back in 2002, they played a song off of Opiate, which they really never do anymore. So these fans are all just being a bunch of crybabies and like, well, you repeated the same 4 songs. Yeah, but the other songs that they swapped in. Oh, God, I hate people so much sometimes. You can delve deeper into their less than enthusiastic discussion regarding the set list over at the band's subreddit. Tool first ever South American headlining run is up. Next up on deck, and we'll proceed as follows. All right, StreamYard's going to piss me off right now. Look, it took my background out again. Does not go back to the same screen that I have it on. Oh, StreamYard, you silly goose. Let's see if I can get rid of some of these ads before we read this one. So now, continue on about how Tool fans are literally the worst. People are threatening a class action lawsuit over Tool Live in the Sand set list disappointment. They're threatening a lawsuit because people were disappointed with a concert. Let me put it this way. One of the many, many times I've seen Tool live was back in 2007. Or it was about a full year after 10,000 Days came out. So 2007, Tool's coming to town. Snag tickets, awesome. That first night sold out. Boom, like that. So again, all the haters, all the people that say, "Oh, I'm over these guys," okay, the shows sell out. They sell out in minutes. This is back in the days where Ticketmaster Online existed, but for the most part, you still could very much benefit from going to the physical box office. I had a friend who worked a graveyard shift at a machine shop. His schedule was Monday through Thursday into Friday morning. He was off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and this particular Tool tour going on sale Friday, and we had a handful of us that wanted to go, and my buddy was like, hey, I get off work at whatever it was at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. He's like, I'll get off work, run through the drive-through somewhere that's 24 hours, grab something to eat, and then I'll go post up at the box office and wait until tickets go on sale at 10 a.m. So there's already about a half a dozen people in front of him when he got there around 3 o'clock in the morning, waited in line until 10, got up there, got the tickets for me, him, and a couple other friends. And he said that he overheard as he was walking away, like shortly after he walked away, he heard them say that tickets had already sold out because between online sales, people physically standing outside of the box office at the venue, boom, sold out in minutes. So Tool added a second night. And of course, being the rabid fans that we are, a lot of us went and bought tickets for the second night. So rather than letting some other poor nobody get a chance at seeing them on the second night that they added to the tour, a bunch of us were like, let's go see Tool 2 nights in a row. And you know what they did? They played the exact same set list in the exact same order, save for one song. They swapped out one song. And the song they played on the first night and the song they played on the next night, both of them were like big deal, like, oh man, those are 2 of my favorite songs. I'm super stoked that I came to both of these nights. There was that little bit of like, oh, they're playing the same set, but I get it. It's a tour. It takes a lot to program all of the lighting and the video and the visuals and get everything all timed out with the music and stuff. It's like, you can't just come out there and play anything. Like, you got to have, everything's got to be programmed. Everything's got to be timed out. So I saw them do this where they literally played the same set in the same order, save for one song. And I still walked out of there going, man, that was amazing. That was a great show. These people did an all-inclusive weekend getaway with other great acts such as Primus, Mastodon, Coheed and Cambria, all other bands to see. You were not just here to see Tool, or maybe you were, and then you're an idiot. But because they played 4 of the same songs out of a set of many other good songs and some deep cuts, They're threatening a class action lawsuit. This is seriously why Tool fans are the worst. Like, I love this band so much, but their fan base is seriously the worst. So let's talk about this a little bit. It seems that the disappointment experienced by some fans at the recent first ever Tool Live in the Sand Destination Festival, headlined by progressive metal stars Tool, may result in a class action lawsuit. By now, you've likely heard that the acclaimed multi-platinum band, again, I think they have no problem sleeping at night, multi-platinum band pair of headlining shows this past weekend on the beaches of the Dominican Republic underwhelmed at least a few attendees, which once again, you're upset that they repeated 4 of the same songs. There's no way on God's green earth you were underwhelmed by their set. I have seen this band live so many times, and they are always next level. You're just mad that they repeated 4 of the same songs. It was not underwhelming. There's no way. The chief issue is that despite back-to-back performances on March 7th and 8th, the group opted to provide little set list variants, including the same 4 songs, which we already talked about. Talked about that. Okay, here's the thing, too. People are like, oh, we paid thousands of dollars to watch Tool repeat 4 of the same songs in their set. Like, this is a weekend getaway to the Dominican Republic with other bands playing. If you shelled out thousands of dollars and traveled to the Dominican Republic for this festival only to see Tool, that's on you. There were other bands to be seen. There were other things to experience. There's other... just like if it's going to be all about one band and I want a totally unique set both nights, like you're kind of an idiot for paying that amount of money to just see the one band. They're going on tour. They're going to come around again. You could probably see them in a city near you without having to travel to the Dominican Republic. I hate Tool fans so much sometimes. Video of booze and FU Saturday night in Dominican Republic. Let's see if we can pull that up in just a second. And then this one, again, blaming the singer. They are a band of 4 individuals who all collectively made that decision. Why just Maynard James Keenan? Why single out the singer? Tool fans are the worst. Now, an advertisement is purportedly circulating on Facebook from a lawyer who appears to be gauging potential interest in okay, so there's some lawyer on Facebook just being a vulture. Potential interest in filing a class action suit against the band for allegedly under-delivering on the festival's claims to serve up 2 unique headlining sets from the band. All right, I'm going to read the set list again because I think they're pretty unique. Songs from Undertow. Night 1, Stinkfist from Anima. Fear Inoculum from Fear Inoculum. Rosetta Stone from Lateralis. Pneuma from Fear Inoculum. Jambi from 10,000 Days. Schism and the Grudge from Lateralis. The Flood from Undertow. When's the last time they played that song? Invincible from Fear Inoculum. And Vicarious from 10,000 Days. Night number 2. Fear Inoculum from the said album, Fear Inoculum. Anima from Anima. Rosetta Stone from Lateralis. That was on the other night too. And really too, like, you're seeing the song Rosetta Stone. If you're familiar with that song, that is like, Maynard deserves a freaking award for being able to rattle off those lyrics at rapid fire live and in person too. Pneuma from Fear Inoculum, Jambi from 10,000 Days, Descending from Fear Inoculum, Chocolate Chip Trip, the Danny Carey drum solo from Fear Inoculum, Intolerance and Swamp Song from Undertow. They don't play songs that old anymore. You should be happy you got 3 songs from Undertow. I would say those are pretty damn unique. But I digress. 2 unique headlining sets. I mean, what do you guys think about all of this? You think they're all just being a bunch of whiny little babies? You think that they have a case here? I put this out on Twitter a couple days ago, and I had somebody comment on there who I didn't know. I don't know how they came across the post. I don't think we follow each other, but they kind of even made the case of like, oh, well, you know, people paid all this money to come out there and see Tool, and they repeated 4 of the same songs. You know, that was a big misstep from the band. And again, I'm like, You paid all this money and came all the way out to the Dominican Republic just to see Tool. That was a big misstep on your part, because like you're paying all this money just to see the one band. It's like, what about Primus? What about Mastodon? What about Coheed? Like, what about probably some of the other little more intimate side things that were probably happening with all those talented artists on said weekend getaway? Screen cap of the post, which recently began circulating on Reddit as well, can be found below. This is just like, and I bet this guy probably wears a really bad toupee. Attention, Tool and the Sand Festival attendees. Did you pay $4,000 to $10,000 for the Tool? See, $4,000 to $10,000. There was a lot more going on than just Tool. You're shelling out between $4 to $10 grand, and you only wanted to see Tool. You're kind of the idiot in this one. Sorry, not sorry. Promise is broken. You were promised 2 unique tool sets. You paid premium prices based on these promises. The second show repeated approximately 60% of the first night's set list. The second performance ended early. Yeah, probably because you were booing them and yelling F you at the band. I would walk off stage too. Bunch of ungrateful little... You may be entitled to compensation. Man, this is like late night infomercial just waiting to happen. Man, what a vulture. All right, let's see if I can zoom out a little bit here where I can actually see. Wrong screen. All right, cool. What the hell just happened? I expect concerts to be pretty similar each night for the same band, if not exact each night, just due to sound, lighting, and all. See, yeah. And to a certain degree, I can understand people maybe being disappointed. If they're like, hey, we came out here, Tool said they were going to play 2 nights in a row and whatever. Like, I can understand them being disappointed. That's fine. Everybody's entitled to have their opinion. Everyone's entitled to say they had fun or didn't have fun. But to be booing, to be screaming obscenities, to be threatening a possible class action lawsuit because you're disappointed, like, grow up. That's where it loses me. All right, here we go. Let's see. Sound full screen. So you guys are gonna have to let me know if you can hear this, because I often have audio issues. But let's give it a try. And it got rid of my background again. Let's try this out. Let me know if you guys can hear it. Let's try again. You can see people flipping them off, booing, yelling F you. Insufferable, spoiled little children. So anyways, no one's telling me if they can hear it or not, so I'm just going to move on. Stop doing that. Stop doing that, StreamYard. Back here. Let's just see. So it also alleges that they ended their set early the second night. So what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 songs the first night. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 songs the second night. But Chocolate Chip Trip drum solo is they probably kind of let him go for a while. Rosetta Stone is a pretty long song, which they played both nights. Descending, which they did not play the first night, is a pretty long song. Swamp Song, So first night, 10 songs. Second night, 9 songs. They're claiming, the band ended the set early. And you know what? Maybe they did. Because if I was a band who was hosting my own festival, like this was a weekend getaway where they brought on other bands, but Tool was more or less kind of the organizer, big headliner, first 2 nights, whatever. If I'm the band who put this whole thing together and it's supposed to be the big headliner for the Friday and Saturday dates of said festival, getaway, whatever you want to call it, and if the crowd is flipping us off, screaming obscenities and booing, I'm gonna walk off stage too. I'm gonna leave early too. Like, screw you guys. If you're not appreciating what we're putting down. Cage and Corey in the house. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Yeah, if Tool, let's say they did end the show early, I would have done the same thing just based on that video right there. They're flipping them off. They're cussing, they're screaming, they're booing. It's like, all right, screw you guys. If you don't like what we're putting out here, then we're going to end the show early. And that's, again, what's so funny is they're threatening this supposed possible class action lawsuit. Like, oh, they ended their set early. It's like, well, yeah, because everybody was screaming at them and like booing them and stuff. It's like, so you're unhappy, you boo. They walk off stage early. Maybe. I don't think they did, but maybe they ended the show one song early. And then you're like, oh, there you go. They ended the show early. It's like, you guys weren't appreciating it, apparently. So they're just like, screw these guys. We're going to leave. We're going to go back to our rooms and relax and, whatever. But no judge is going to hear this case. They're going to look at this and be like, no, like, you did not pay $4,000 to $10,000 for a concert ticket. You paid $4,000 to $10,000 to travel to the Dominican Republic and see a handful of different bands over the course of a weekend, and you're just upset with the set list of the festival organizers and headliners. But no judge is going to hear this. It is going to get tossed out so fast. Well, that all depends on if you actually show up to this one, buddy. Just saying, just putting it out there. And you'd have to find my car. Maybe I'm really good at hiding it. But yeah, it's amazing. It's really amazing to me. Just the entitled mentality that Tool fans have for this band. And again, I understand that it's a back and forth. It's a push and pull. It's a mutual thing. If the fans are not listening to the music, if the fans are not buying the albums, if the fans are not buying the concert tickets, if the fans are not going to the shows, if the fans are not buying the merch, then there is no band. So you have to put out things that the fans like so that they want to give you their money. But then when the fans try and dictate, oh, well, I'm unhappy with your set. Oh, you didn't play my favorite song. Oh, you repeated this song. I don't like that. I'm like, well, do you like their music or not? Because now, of course, all the big keyboard warriors on the internet are, oh, these guys sold out a long time ago. Really? Tool sold out. If Tool sold out, they would be making 3-minute long, catchy radio songs, just trying to maybe get some dumb teenager to use their song in a TikTok video or something. They wouldn't be writing songs that are 13 minutes long if they sold out. There's not much money to be made in doing that unless you are a well-established band like Tool is. Oh, they sold out a long time ago. Oh, they're so overrated. Are we going to finally admit that Tool's overrated? And don't get me wrong, you know what? Fine. You don't have to like everything. Not everyone has to like everything. We can all like different things, and that's okay. But these guys are talented. They are next level talented in just the way that they craft their songs. They're next level in the way that they bring their live shows and the visuals and the lighting and the videos and just everything that Tool brings literally to the stage, like quite literally their live performances, what they bring to the stage, in my very humble opinion, and I'm only one person, whatever, but of all the very many times I've seen Tool live, like they are at the top of my list of like best concerts, best live band I've ever seen. They perform their songs flawlessly. The attention to detail they put into all the various different visuals throughout the show It's amazing. I highly recommend to anyone that is a fan of this band to try and catch them live at least once in your life. But oh my Lord, are their fans a bunch of entitled, spoiled little children? And I'll work on that. I'll get that going. But I'm definitely going to play some Coheed and Cambria just for you, Roman, because I know how much you love Coheed. They got a new album coming out on Friday. I bought you a copy. But Tool fans, they don't understand the humor. They don't understand that you can say they're overrated, you can say they sold out, you can say they hate them, and that's fine. Like I said, not everybody has to like Tool, but their numbers speak for themselves. Their albums go multi-platinum. Their live shows sell out in a matter of minutes. People who go to the shows walk away happy. I always walk away happy. So, it is what it is. Justin Chancellor, bassist Justin Chancellor. It's always those damn bassists. He kind of gave some fans a little bit of false hope recently, saying that after this next batch of tour dates that they're going to sit down and start organizing ideas for another album. They've tossed around the ideas of maybe doing just an EP or something, but the long and short of it is that these guys are all getting to be into their late 50s and early 60s, so they can't really afford to go another 13 years without releasing an album. So they're going to try to get something out sooner than later. Bassist Justin Chancellor kind of put it out there like, oh yeah, we're going to try to start organizing ideas. And of course, Maynard came back, put the kibosh on that, saying, like, he doesn't like to get people riled up until something's like really like in the can, ready to release. Because then people ask him all the questions. What's up with the new album? What's the update on the new album? When is the new album coming out? And he just doesn't want the questions. So he's like, he doesn't even talk about it. He's like, I don't know. They're writing music, they're putting stuff together, but it's like he's not going to give anyone false hope or talk about it until it's pretty much like, here's a release date. It's coming out next week. Here you go. Like, I think they actually very much announced the last one, Fear Inoculum. It was kind of a last minute surprise announcement. Like, there wasn't really a lot of teasing or build up. It was just like, it's coming out in August. Here it comes. And it was like July. So they just, they kind of threw that one out there last minute on us. Because again, then people scour the internet and they try to get bootleg copies and they try to find and they try to just don't even try. Just wait until the album comes out and listen to the album. That's all I can say. So that's about all I have to say about that. Thank you guys all for hanging out with me today. Oh, here we go. That's what I was looking for.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Thanks for hanging out and listening to me rant about Tool. Let's see, it looks like there's still a few of you still watching. Sound off here in the comments before I get on out of here. Let me know what you guys think, or even just say good night, good afternoon, good whatever time zone you're in. Let me know you guys are here hanging out. Let me know you're picking up what I'm putting down. But then also the easiest thing you can possibly do to help out this little channel is to make sure to like this stream. Like I said, throw your comments below in the chat. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already. Hit that bell for notifications so you'll hopefully get notified when I go live. But I think I'm shadow banned. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that, unless you're Lady Marine, where you always downvote and unsub every week. And I wouldn't expect anything less of her, but she's always here and I appreciate you. So thanks for hanging out. Let's see. I have a gig on Friday, my pre St. Patty's Day. St. Patrick's Day is on a Monday, so I'll probably just be sitting at home drinking Guinness and watching Boondock Saints on Monday. But Friday, I do have a gig at one of my favorite spots, Sunny Grove Brewing Company, where I'm gonna hopefully try and toss out a few of my Irish tunes from my early days of my early to mid 20s, playing with an 8-piece Irish band, and we'll have a grand old time. As always, I'll be streaming that one. It will be Friday, 6 p.m. California time. And as long as I don't have a really terrible day at work on Monday, I will hopefully come up with some topics, and we'll be back on Monday with late to the party news on some stories that are probably multiple days, if not multiple weeks late. But this has been After Work Beers. I appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out with me. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday and the rest of your week. I will see you on Friday for the gig stream. Cheers.